So what's up 3D learners, welcome back to the video. So in today's video we're gonna create this environment with huge buildings, and it's kind of sci-fi city. So let's get started. So first off, I'm gonna delete the default things by selecting pressing A, delete, shift A, add a plane, and scale up a little more, like tab, subdivide, right click, subdivide it with kind of 100, and deselect everything by selecting anywhere else from the plane. Click select and click select random, and now I'm gonna select the face select and extrude everything with pressing E. Click select once again and select random. I'm gonna decrease the ratio and extrude by pressing E again. Now I'm gonna select some faces you can do it by yourself however you want. I'm gonna select some faces and create a building by myself. E and make a building not that tall. You can do it yourself. And that is cool for me. I'm gonna add one more plane, shift A, add a plane, add a shader to it, grab the window, or you can go to the shader editor for adding a material. I gave you some textures in description. You can click on the description and grab those texture. Locate where you put those texture and click on rock texture and grab all of the textures and principal texture setup. I'm gonna change from EV to cycles, from CPU to GPU. If you have a GPU, you can change it to GPU. If you don't have a GPU, you can just keep it on CPU. I'm gonna change from supported to experimental. I'm gonna add a modifier, subdivision surface, simple, adaptive subdivision. Go to material, go down and settings, from bump only to displacement and bump. Go to the viewport shading, control A, apply scale. You can already see it's bumping, and I'm gonna control A, apply scale. Grab the UV window for scaling the material. The more you scale the material, the more detail you will get. Press A and for selecting every vertices and scale. I'm gonna light up the scene. I'm gonna grab the plane up for so I can see easily what's happening. Scale a little more. And now I'm gonna add a noise texture. Add a noise texture, and I'm gonna mix it with the control shift and right click and mix it with noise texture. Expand the mix. I'm gonna increase the scale of noise texture, and also the detail. Increase the factor. I added the noise texture because the texture was looping. The texture will be not looping after I increase the scale of displacement. Now you can see the texture is not actually looping. Now when I decrease, now I'm gonna try decreasing the factor. You can see when I decrease the factor, it's looping, the texture is looping. But when I increase the factor, the texture will be not looping. Great. So I'm gonna collapse the window, move it down however you want. I'm gonna move it down a little bit. And now I'm gonna give the other guy a texture. Select the buildings plane. Control save. You have to save, guys. Keep saving your data so you'll know load it. Give the other guy a little texture. Make it darker. I'm gonna try some colors. You can do it however you want. I'm gonna increase the metallic, change some colors, and decrease the roughness, increase the metallic. Shift A, add a color ramp, and Shift A, add a noise texture. Put the color into factor and the color ramp into roughness. Increase the scale of noise texture, increase the black portion of color ramp. You can adjust it however you want. I'm gonna take the black portion back a little bit and increase the white portion. So as you can see, I'm getting a little texture over here, the black spots, kind of shadow. Now I'm gonna select these buildings that I made myself. Go to edit mode and select click on the X-ray mode and select these buildings. I'm gonna add this guy a texture. Go to material, add new material, press assign, press new material, decrease the roughness and increase the metallic. You can do it however you want. I'm gonna increase the roughness and increase the metallic and give it a darker material, kind of like that. Now I'm gonna make that sci-fi kind of building that I made in another video. You can watch that video or watch me making the sci-fi building. I'm gonna go to viewport shading, Shift A, add a cube, and I'm gonna move it up a little bit. Now I'm gonna give that kind of sci-fi vibe. Now I'm gonna subdivide it 2 times and select the edge select and give it kind of sci-fi vibe with pressing Ctrl B. You can do it yourself. And that is kind of cool for me. I'm gonna move it aside, Shift A, add one more cube, move it up, scale it with Z, scale it however you want, move it down, pull the geometry nodes window, click new, and I'm gonna give this guy a little sci-fi kind of vibe. Add distribute points on faces by pressing Shift A and search. Shift A, add instance on points. Now I'm gonna grab the other cube. Now I'm gonna grab the other cube in geometry nodes and grab the geometry in instance. And now I'm gonna decrease the density of distribute points on faces. You can do it however you want. Shift A, add a random value, plug it into scale. I'm gonna decrease the max and kind of adjust it. And maybe increase the min. I'm gonna decrease or maybe increase density. And now I'm gonna go to edit mode and click the X-ray button, right click subdivide it with kinda maybe 20. Now grab the bottom vertices and scale it however you want. You can grab some vertices and make it however you want. Make it kind of sci-fi building. And I kind of like that. I'm gonna grab the geometry nodes and adjust the distribute points on faces. I'm gonna shift D and duplicate that building. Press D to move it up, or X90 for rotating it with 180 degree. You can adjust it however you want. Move it down, move the both building down. And now I'm gonna duplicate these planes, both planes, and duplicate them in a lot of pieces. Now I'm gonna duplicate all of these. You can do it however you want. First I'm gonna make it kind of 4 pieces of plane, and then I'm gonna duplicate it and adjust it in the camera. I'm gonna move this building. First off, make sure you selected the cube, first cube, and go to the viewport shading and grab the building image that I gave you in texture in description. Grab it in Blender and grab the color in base color and grab the color in roughness and alpha in alpha. I'm gonna increase the metallic, and now I'm gonna increase the scale of the texture. Click on this image, Control T if you have no rectangle enabled. Increase the scale. You can adjust it yourself. And now I'm gonna grab these 4 planes, and you can see the line between them. I'm gonna finish that line by combining them together. I'm gonna duplicate these both buildings and move it with X, and you can adjust it yourself. however you like. I'm gonna select the bottom building and Shift D, move it aside for making more buildings. And I'm gonna go to edit mode and adjust that building. You can adjust it yourself however you want. And that is cool. Now I'm gonna go to object mode and Shift D and move it to other side and adjust that too. I'm gonna go to edit mode and adjust that building too. And I kind of like that. I'm gonna go to object mode back and move it a little closer. I'm gonna click at one of these first plane and shift and click at the last plane. I'm gonna duplicate that and move it. And finally, time for adding a camera. Shift A, add a camera. I'm gonna adjust the scene for adding a camera. Adjust it wherever you want. Control Alt and 0 for the camera view. Adjust the camera and make that building fit in the camera. I'm gonna increase the focal length. Now I'm gonna move the camera backward by clicking G and scroll button on your mouse. Click G again and adjust the camera however you want. Make the building fits in the camera. Now I'm gonna duplicate these two planes at the same time. Duplicate these planes and move it with X. You can press Ctrl for snapping. And I saw a cube over there. I'm gonna grab that cube and move it away from the scene. Now I'm gonna go to view board shading and deselect the X-ray mode, and I'm gonna grab 8 of these planes right over here, duplicate them, Shift D, move it with X, and we're gonna see if they fit in the camera. Not yet. I'm gonna duplicate them again, Shift D, X, and I'm gonna grab these two planes and Shift D. I'm gonna move it with X-axis and I'm gonna scale it for filling the scene so I don't have to duplicate multiple planes. I'm gonna Shift D that plane and move it with Y. Scale at plane 2 for adjusting the scene. You can do it however you want. You can also duplicate more planes, or I'm gonna scale one plane. I'm gonna scale these two planes too and move it a little bit, and there we go. I saw one plane over here that is not filling the scene. I'm gonna scale that too. move it down, and awesome, we fill the scene up. I'm gonna shift A, add a cube, and move it up and scale with X and Y. There's a trick for making clouds. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna make some clouds out of this cube, scale it, and fill up the scene. Go to shader editor, click new, and I'm gonna delete the principal BSGF, add a color ramp, add a noise texture, grab the color into factor, and a color in volume. You can increase the scale however you want. If you want smaller clouds, you can increase the scale more. If you want bigger clouds, and so you can decrease the scale. Now increase the black portion. I'm gonna decrease the scale. I'm gonna adjust the scale however I want. I'm gonna increase the black portion, and you can see there's a trick for making clouds. You can already see some clouds over there. This trick really worth it. I'm gonna move it down and adjust that. And I'm gonna scale it more. And now I'm gonna duplicate these clouds and move it upward, and like that. I'm gonna click the 2 button, so that'll not change the bottom one. Increase the black portion, kind of like that. I'm gonna hide the bottom one and see how the top one is working. I'm gonna increase the scale to 15, move it up, kind of like that, and grab that down, kind of over there. And I'm gonna unhide the other clouds and go to viewport shading, and as you can see, we're already getting some. I'm gonna add the sky texture for giving some realistic, and you can see it's looking really beautiful. I'm gonna decrease the air for making it kind of sci-fi vibe, and you can see it's looking really cool. Adjust the air, dust, and ozone. I'm gonna decrease the ozone, and now I'm gonna save the file. Keep saving the file, guys. I'm gonna increase these clouds, and you can adjust your however you want. I like kind of over there. You can not have too much clouds, but I kind of like that. You can have however you want. I'm gonna adjust these settings and adjust these clouds. And now I'm gonna turn these clouds into wire so they're not disturbing us in the scene. Select one of these clouds and select one of these cube and go to the object properties and go down, click on viewport display and turn texture to wire, turn both to wire, and now you can see they're not disturbing us. And now I'm gonna duplicate some of these buildings. You can do it yourself. I'm gonna adjust those and duplicate them and spread it in the scene. And now I'm satisfied with that. I'm gonna go to render, viewport shading, and see how it's looking. Yeah, and it's looking pretty cool. You can render it. I'm gonna show you my render setting. Go to render setting and I'm gonna give it max sample 800, and I'm gonna increase the contrast, go down and increase the contrast, and you can see it's looking cool with high contrast. And now go to output setting and I'm gonna give it a 4K resolution, 3840 by 2160, and you can put any resolution, depends on your PC. And I'm gonna select JPEG and increase the quality. You can render it right now. Click on the render button and render the image. So if you guys have fun and learn something from the video, please make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. So I'll be keeping up and uploading videos every single week. I'm gonna try uploading video every single week. So yeah, that's all for today's video, and I'll see you in next video.